Welcome. This is what is happening on the Sun today, the 14th of May 2011. On this date, 38 years ago, Skylab was launched. That's a particularly interesting day for me because part of my thesis involved analysing the solar images from the Apollo telescope now. Over the last 24 hours the Sun has been very quiet. In fact, one might even term it brain dead. So let's take a look at the active regions and see what's been going on. In the southern hemisphere, two regions have been developing relatively rapidly. The newly numbered 1213 is approaching the west limb and so will disappear in the next couple of days. In the northern hemisphere, region 1210 is approaching the west limb and will be gone in the next 2 to 3 days. And region 1208 seems to be fairly stable. However, a small region has developed just to its north, but I don't think it's going to amount to very much. The GOES X-ray plot illustrates just how quiet the Sun has been, with the X-ray background falling to a level at or below B1 level, and no flares really of any kind. In the sunspot and magnetic movies, we can see the decay in the regions in the northern hemisphere. But I'd like you to focus on the southeast, where that new region is developing quite rapidly. That's a region worth keeping an eye on over the next few days. About a month ago, you may recall that I was talking about this huge filament that stretched from limb to limb in the southern hemisphere. Well, it's still there and you can see it in the Helium-304 movie. I confidently predicted at that time that it would lift off, and today I was proven right, but only a month late. If you look carefully, you can also see some activity in the same area in the coronal movie. I would have thought that it would have produced a fairly large coronal mass ejection, but in the SOHO movies you can only see a very faint one coming off the southeast limb. Did any of you stargazers out there notice a little group of stars in the northeast quadrant of the C3 image? Anybody want to hazard a guess as to what it is? I'll give the answer later. From the stereo A data we see that one of the CMEs we saw in the earlier movies was on the front side of the Sun, and the other one to the south was on the back side of the Sun. From the ACE data we see that we're in a very low temperature, low density and low speed solar wind stream. The auroral zone is very quiet and the KP index has been varying between 1 and 2. So in summary then, the sunspot number remains at 29, the X-ray background has fallen to the B1 level, the radio sun flux has dropped to 92 solar flux units, solar wind speed is down to 310 km per second, and the KP index is rated as quiet. So once again, my forecast for the next 24 hours is that the Sun will remain relatively quiet, with the C flare if possible. The chance of M or X flare is very unlikely. We should continue to get coronal mass ejections, and the chance of getting a geomagnetic storm is fairly low. In the longer term we should be getting a couple of good regions back over the east limb in the next couple of days, so activity then should start to pick up. The answer to the question about that little group of stars is the Pleiades. So that should give you some idea of the scale of some of these coronal mass ejections when you see them on the plane of the sky. If you want more details, follow some of the links in the description box below, and there are links there to earlier editions of The Sun Today. If you go to my channel you can see some of my videos about global warming. So that's it for today. Keep safe. Bye for now.